Funny thing about a Saturday special, back then, how could he know about a thing we call skinformation? How you get it on the Stone Roadie show? It's a Saturday night special with everything that you need to know. It's a Saturday night special with Craig and Kathy on the Stone Roadie show.
Hello there, this is Alan Collins, and you're listening to the
Stoned Roadie Show. Podcast 253, Thanksgiving Day. Action. Alrighty there, and fellow slaves and earthlings, looky here, looky here. My name's Craig Reed, a.k.a. the Stoned Roadie. And looky here what I got, who I got with me today on Thanksgiving 2024, the lovely Kathy GODSEY. So what the heck we gonna talk about here on Thanksgiving 2024 on this November 28th, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Thanksgiving
Thursday. Yeah,
early
Thursday.
afternoon, and I know that you're heading out to your sister's big party dinner today.
Yeah.
And are you wearing that getup when you go to your sister's?
This is my normal Thanksgiving when we get, you always do the specials with me, Griff's sister is apparently taken ill, and she had to go to the hospital, and Griff and I had to cancel the Wednesday morning wake and bake, so we just decided to do this Thursday Thanksgiving edition of the Stoned Roadie Show, and so I put up a little thing on Facebook about asking questions. Did you get anything off there, sir?
Yeah, I got a couple of things, but before we get that, I'm still want to talk about your outfit there. You have feathers. One shoulder going straight down, the others are coming out from behind. You have a couple. That looks like it's a very old headdress.
This is the one I got from last year, and it's very cheap, and it's falling apart. I don't think next year this will be able to use. But this vest is one that I wore last year, and this is one Leon's vest.
Oh wow!
You can see Leon wearing it here. This here we go.
Nice.
Yeah, got a couple of pictures of him wearing it here. Yeah, there's one. You can see it's the same one.
Did you have? I can't see their turquoise. Is that being covered up? Oh, there it is. Beautiful. What a nice vest.
Yeah.
Really nice. Very nice. And he had the boots that he usually wore with that, right? The turquoise and black boots.
Little Lily's got those. No, he didn't. No, he had another vest that went with those black boots.
Okay.
Yeah, he had two of these stage vests like this, and he gave me one of them. At the end of a tour, I forget what tour it was, guys. It was back when he lived here. It was right around 2000. Yeah.
Beautiful. Now, last year when we did the Thanksgiving podcast, I wore my black braided wig. But the last time I did a podcast, I wore a black wig. So I wanted to give that a break. I got some interesting comments. Somebody said, Steve Pitt said, "Who's the witch? And what did you do with Kathy GODSEY?" And then John Kay, he said, "I look like the lead singer of Steppenwolf." And then some people said I look like Joey Ramone. So, yeah, thank you. That's kind of the look I was going for. I wasn't really sure with that black wig, but, yeah, that was my Halloween costume for this year. So, but Craig is all ready for Halloween. I really think you should go to your sister's later on with that, just the way you are. Just driving on the highway with that outfit.
Yeah.
So yeah, prayers to Griff's sister. Do you know what her status is right now? How she's
She's
doing?
got
Or
she's got that same kind of thing. I guess Gene Odom has heart defibrillation or something like that.
oh gosh. All right.
And
Wow. And then he wasn't feeling well the other day when you guys did a
no,
podcast.
he's got some
He
kind of
wasn't feeling
funk
well.
too. Yeah,
Oh boy.
and he wasn't feeling good either.
Wow.
So yeah.
So Craig, what have you been up to? Are you cooking or bringing anything to your sister's house, or what are
No,
you
they got plenty of food up there. Yeah,
okay. So
got
you're not
plenty
bringing
of
any
food.
stone roadie soup with you?
No, no, I'm
Okay.
not. I'm just taking me.
All right. Have you made any lately? Have you made any of your
Oh
delicious?
God, yeah, yeah, I make it
Yeah.
all the time. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you guys, I tasted the soup and it was very, very good. It was better than I expected to be. It was very good. You had all the cabbage in there and the all those beans and everything. It was really, really good. It actually,
I remember when you found that I put zesty Italian dressing in the recipe. You thought that was kind of amusing.
but
But
you know,
it's
it cleared up my
logical.
cold because I was a little congested, and then all of a sudden, I wasn't congested anymore. So
Yeah,
there's some kind
it's
of.
got some cayenne in it, yeah.
Oh yeah. So I noticed the other day you put something on your Facebook page about this that TSP, that food additive, that trisodium phosphate that's
Oh
in a lot of.
yeah, yeah,
I had heard of it, but I didn't really know what it was. So I looked and I saw in that that little video that you put up, that's like it's like chemical, right? Isn't that a chemical
yeah,
that's used in cleaning products and things like that?
yeah. It's
And
crazy.
and you talk about how, the government's trying to kill us and they're putting poison on our food. And then, you're kind of like, well, I kind of think, well, what do you mean specifically? But here's a perfect example. That isn't it's a in chemicals to clean, and then it's also in a lot of food products. It's in cereals, and it really helps keep stuff stay longer. It's like a preservatives, right? It's used in cheeses, soda, baked goods. All that stuff has trisodium phosphate in it. So first thing I do is I went to my cabinet to look. Nothing in there with it, but I don't have cereals or things like that. I have oatmeal, but none of that has it in it. But that's another thing I'm going to have to look at when I go to the grocery store. If that's in foods, I'm going to try to avoid it. So, but thank you for, they say that the FDA considers TSP to be safe, but then they consider it to be safe, but then they say that, if there's too much of it, it can harm your health. So what does that really mean? It means we're eating it. We're eating it every day, so it's not okay.
Yeah,
So,
Monsanto owns I don't know how many different food companies. I mean, they own Quaker, they own uh, about 80 different food companies. Monsanto, the chemical company, own. Yeah, it's incredible all the food companies they own.
that's
Yeah.
crazy. Well, I say
Well,
read the
everything
labels.
everything is owned by either BlackRock or Vanguard. And
Yeah.
if we're gonna straighten up all the corruption in the world, you're gonna have to start right at the top because that's where all this stuff's coming from. I mean, there's
Mhm.
a lot of stuff. Griff and I were talking the other day on the last podcast about this directed energy and stuff, and these fires that they don't make sense. They're not
Mhm.
natural. People have investigated them, and they say normal forest fires they don't burn aluminum wheels and they don't melt glass. There's something's going on here to make these things some kind of microwaves or something are making these fires so much hotter, and they're burning in targeted areas, and none of this stuff's making sense. And somebody's doing this stuff, and it's obviously it's starting right from the top. you know. So,
Hmm.
if you're going to stop this storm, you're going to have to, you can't, you're not going to stop it by messing with the little people at the bottom. You're going to have to get them from the top. Seems like that's what Trump's trying to eventually accomplish, there's a lot of people saying that, it's time for the Boston Tea Party 2.0,
Yes,
we're paying taxes
that's
for no
right.
reason. I mean, it's time for people to wake up and go, why are we doing this? It's stupid, And they say during this equinox, that happened that there's a different frequency that went on, and some people have opened up their mind and they're able to kind of absorb some of the things that are going on, and some people just aren't able to. And I don't know. It seems like I've been opened up to a lot. Not that I'm a lot more smarter than anybody, but I kind of listen to people what they're saying, and kind of makes sense, and it's not nothing I formulated on my own. It's just things that other people have said that make sense to me, like this flat Earth. you know,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
a year ago I thought that was crazy talking, but there's a lot of different theories that are kind of unusual on both aspects, but I just kind of find it funny that here we are in 2024 and we're arguing whether the Earth is flat or round. It's kind of amusing,
Yeah.
you know, like we
Well,
we,
I agree
we
with
don't
you.
know.
Yeah, because I don't think of, I'm not a conspiracy theorist by any means, but I listen when people, I read articles or see videos about major things that happen in the world and in this country, and then there's always, we always assume it's some kind of natural disaster or whatever it is, but then you start to listen to the other side, like for example, 9/11. I mean, that was horrible. And everybody was convinced that this was, the terrorist attack. But then some people started saying, well, you know what? 100% that was an inside job. And I thought, that's crazy. That's crazy. Why would they do that?
Yeah,
But then if you look at videos, documentaries and things, they start to ask questions that you say, wait a minute, why did this happen? Why did this happen? So I definitely, I'm open for listening to both sides, and I certainly don't have any answers, but I definitely am not closed-minded. And then with the floods in North Carolina a couple of weeks ago, and a lot of these things that happen, I just wonder, really what,
well, they're not helping. That's what's
yeah.
kind of questionable. Why aren't they helping on these people? Those people. I mean,
Oh,
in Hawaii, people have forgotten about the Lahaina over there, and it's like they
yeah.
devastated these people's property. They gave them $700, and they won't let them rebuild. I mean, are you
Yeah.
serious? And it was all directed. It was all this directed energy. It was like, Griff and I were talking about the houses that have either a red roof or a blue roof, like when they're taking your tattoo off, the laser that they use, it has a hard time with red and green.
Hmm.
And that's why houses or whatever buildings with red roofs or blue roofs, they seem to be safe from whatever this directed energy kind of thing is.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and there's a place over there that's very, very old, and it had it's known as a red roof place, and it's the
Hmm.
only structure that survived around all these homes, and it's really funny. Jim Neighbors' house was, you could just about throw a football hit Jim Neighbors' house.
Really?
It's a mansion, and it didn't get hit, and it's just like, yeah, it's just like it's just really strange things going on that just don't make a lot of sense, And I don't know. This just seems
Well,
like some people are playing games with with society and just kind of laughing about it. And it's not funny. I mean, you know.
Well, I don't think anybody want to take down Jim Neighbor's house. That would not be nice to do
Well, he doesn't
that.
live there anymore, but it's where he did.
Well,
It's a
that's just
mansion,
off
you know. I
limits.
mean, it's just funny that these mansions all survived. None of these famous
Yeah.
mansions survived, but all these people that their houses have been there since the 40s that are just, you know, and they're not made out of this kind of stuff that's supposed to
That's
burn
true.
like wood. They're made out of
Right.
masonry and stuff, and they burn up. It's just like it's crazy things going on.
Now we know that the houses, the wood. Didn't you have something on Facebook? Somebody had something about the different kinds of wood they use today. What wood is made up today, as opposed to what wood was like. The type of
Oh,
wood they use
I
for
saw
houses.
that
Yeah,
post.
that was
Yeah, what
interesting.
the different how wood was the quality of wood back in the
Yes.
60s compared to what it is now.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
texture of it and that stuff. Yeah.
And a lot of houses used, the wood is like the pressed part, the pressed wood pieces together, and not really sheets of wood. So, when we used to look for houses, my dad always said, look for, better the wood and real wood, not pressed wood. And my grandfather actually was an engineer, and he always said the best houses are the brick houses.
Yeah.
The best houses, just go with a brick house if you can. So, and you have a brick house, and
Yeah,
those are
this house I
nice to
live
spend
in would,
time.
would cost a fortune to replace, not because of what it is. It's just that all the floors are hardwood oak floors, and all the
Yeah,
trim is oak, and it's
that's
made out
true.
of all, real. Everything's a plaster, nothing's drywall, and you know,
Yeah.
is it's brick. It's straight. It ain't going nowhere. Yeah. Yeah, it's
Mm.
funny. Yeah, my friend's house burnt up, and it was brick, so they were able to rebuild it and just keep the brick and build it from the outside in. But yeah, but they rebuild it, but his taxes like tripled,
Oh, poor
and
guy.
and the house
Oh,
was a lot better when it was the old stuff that was in it was a lot better. Now it's all new stuff and stuff, and now they're
yeah.
saying it's worth triple the amount of money in it. You
Oh,
know,
that's great. Well, they're going to get him in taxes for that. There you go.
yeah. But yeah,
Um,
it was better before. The quality of the wood and stuff was all better than that than it was replaced with. It's kind of funny.
that's a shame. That's a shame. Well, I'm glad he got his house rebuilt, because I know that he was
Oh
really
yeah,
displaced for a while, right? You were
yeah.
saying?
He's like
Yeah.
me. That's the place he grew up in when he was a kid.
Oh, what were those
Yeah.
houses built in the 50s or 40s? Those, like, your
This
house
house was
ones?
built in 58,
58? Okay.
758. Yeah.
I love those houses, the ones in the
Yeah.
50s and 60s. They're amazing.
This house was built by Amish.
Oh,
There's,
really? Was it?
yeah, the
How
Amish.
far are you from the Amish, Craig?
Well, Hartville's 10 miles.
Okay.
No, not
All right.
even 10 miles, I don't think. Yeah, it's pretty close.
A nice house. So, before we get into the skin formation, because we know everybody's going to want to hear skin formation, especially when I'm on here. Before we do, I was listening to the radio this morning going to work. Oh, the Morning Joe. I listen to all different channels. I was listening to the Morning Joe this morning, the XM channel, and they were saying that, if you go to somebody's house for Thanksgiving dinner, you can expect that there's going to be some talk of politics. And because politics always comes up, and they were saying, what do you do to avoid getting into a confrontation? Because most likely, you might have somebody there at your table that has a different political opinion than you. What do you do? I would say don't even go. I would say I'm not going, because if I were sitting at a table and people were talking, about views that are opposite to mine, I would not be okay with it. I would not be okay with it. I could tolerate it for a while, and then I would say, you people have no idea what you're talking about. But anyway, so people were saying that some advice is just say, hey, look, you check your politics at the door. No politics allowed. But right after an election, that's the thing. We just had the election. So Thanksgiving is always after the election. There's always a hot topic. So what do you talk about? That's the problem. So hopefully your family's all in the same view as you when you go to your sister's.
Yeah, yeah, we're all
Good.
conservatives, but I don't think there's
Good.
ever been a such a controversial
Yeah.
issue with the difference in presidencies. It was just, I don't know, perhaps it was back, I guess, when Archie Bunker was talking about the Democrats.
Yeah, that's right.
That was quite a while ago, but yeah, the people are canceled. They're just canceled Thanksgiving this year. They said, that
Yeah.
they'd have to invite this person and that person, and if they did, they knew there was going to be a political confrontation. So they just said, "Screw it, we're just not doing it this year."
I
And
wouldn't go because
yeah,
I'm super conservative, and if somebody, I mean, I wouldn't be able to go because I wouldn't be able to tolerate the conversation because I
yeah.
know what
If
comes
I knew there was
when I would
somebody
say that
going
was
like
me.
that, I wouldn't go either. It's just,
No,
couldn't deal
no,
with the stupidity. It's just
no. Yeah.
ridiculous the way those people think. I mean, why do you want to leave all those illegal aliens into this country? I just listened to something yesterday that in Europe, the over 50% of the people in Germany are immigrants. And just about every country in Europe, the vast over 50% of the population are now immigrants, except for
Really?
Japan. Yeah, and
Mm.
places like that, every place is over 50% immigrants. Some
Wow.
places it's 70% immigrants,
Wow.
and they're trying to do that here.
Yeah.
And you people that support those people, that I don't know why you support that kind of stuff, and why you support uh, even the thought that there's more than two genders. You people are nuts, man. I mean, and you try to make
Mm.
this stuff normal. I mean, you've made obesity normal. I mean, obesity's not normal. I
Well,
mean,
that's the thing with the thing. I mean, to cut you off, but with the big Thanksgiving dinner, I mean, people are just going to go and stuff themselves. Yeah, it's okay. You stuff yourself, blah blah blah, and then you take it easy for a couple of days. But clearly, a lot of us are going to be overeating. We're just going to be overeating more than we need to eat because it's there. So,
well, yeah,
ugh.
you do that on Thanksgiving. Everybody's done that on Thanksgiving since Ferdinand was a pup.
Yeah,
For years
yeah,
and years
yeah.
and years, you do it on
But
Thanksgiving. But God, these days that people just, well, it's the food. I mean, the government has made it so that they convinced everything needed to be low fat, and you
mhm,
needed to change from margarine to butter, and that eggs were bad, and that regular animal fat was bad, and that Crisco was good for you, good for your heart, and Wesson, it was advertised, good for your heart. It's it stuff's lubricant. I mean, it's
mhm.
not made for human consumption, and these people are trying to kill you, and now they've made you all big and fat, and it's disgusting. And some of you people just don't want to learn, or don't want to change, or don't want the world to change. I mean, Kennedy's trying. It disgusts me that Trump is so stupid that he eats McDonald's. I mean, I can't believe that he is such a germaphobe and he eats
Mhm.
that shit.
I know, I
I mean,
know.
that's I just
Yeah.
I just what the shake my head. S-A.
That's right. And just because, you may have voted for a candidate doesn't mean that you believe and support everything that they do.
Shake my head.
Better.
What a dumbass. And he's got all those
Yeah.
kids going, yeah, McDonald's. My
Oh.
God.
It's
You
not like
gotta
it
be
used to be. When
kidding.
I was 17, I worked at McDonald's. That was my first job, or 16. I thought it was really good. Now I don't eat meat anymore. I haven't eaten meat in years, but now it's just not the same. It's completely different now because I used to love those filet fish sandwiches. I think I mentioned it. I got one several months ago and it was not at all like the old McDonald's. I don't know what they did to it, but it was nasty. So,
All those food
yeah,
companies have been bought up by Monsanto and BlackRock
yeah.
and Vanguard and all these chemical. I mean, they're all the pharmaceuticals. They make you fat and then they sell you the chemicals. I mean, it's just, and they just laugh at you. And I'm laughing at you too. God, it's so stupid.
Well, all right. So everybody, so on that note, when we're done, I hope you guys are all, maybe you'll watch this after you have your big Thanksgiving dinner. I hope you enjoy that Thanksgiving dinner. And try to remember, we're not supposed to eat like that every day. It's going to set the tone. They say, well, this is going to be the whole holiday. Eat like that through the
Did
whole holiday. You're going to have
did
a
bath
problem.
did black people actually wash their greens in the bathtub? I heard Kamala say I made up so many greens I washed them in the bathtub, and since
What?
that I've seen people washing the greens in the bathtub. And
No, I'm really not going to
I
anybody's
heard
house.
Kamala say, I cooked up so much greens, I washed them in the bathtub. I went, you
Ew,
got to
ew, no
be
way.
kidding me.
No way.
Yeah, Kamala said she washed her greens in the bathtub. God, but then I seen a lot of black people. They said you got to wash your greens and your collards. No, and your chitlin. Maybe was it chitlins or just collards in
I
the
wash
bathtub?
everything before I eat, but not in the bathtub. I wash it in a
Well, there's
colander.
so many of them. I mean, there was like a bushel of collards and the greens in the bathtub.
Where
They
did you
were
hear
washing
this?
all the dirt off of them.
Where did you where did you see this or hear this?
On Facebook, it's all over Facebook.
Ew.
These people washing
Ew.
Well, Kamala said she washed greens in the bathtub.
Ew.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to her house for dinner. So there. Oh God. All right. I'm getting sick. This is making me nauseous. Let's go. Let's go over the skin formation. All right, people. We got to go this skin formation. That's enough of this. Anyway, so politics at the dinner table. Be careful where you're eating. It's probably too late because you guys have already eaten, but hopefully there are no fights or no family feuds or anything as a result of the election. People are very heated about their feelings about one way or the other. So, and no, you know what? No, you're not going to change anybody's mind. With politics and religion, you can talk till you're blue in the face. You're never going to change anybody's mind with
No.
politics, religion, no matter what happens, no matter if the person changes the world, no matter what, their politics and religion are going to be the same. So that's it. Anyway, all right, let's get on to the questions. You ready for some questions?
All
Now we're all
righty
fired
then.
up
Yeah.
here. You and I were talking before we started about how difficult it is for songwriters and artists to write good songs. You can't just have, like you said, there has to be a hook. Some people write songs and they're garbage. There's nothing to them. So, because you work the best, greatest, one of the greatest bands in the world, how did those guys write such amazing songs? What is it about writing a song that you have to have in order to be,
Gary and Alan would have never made it without Ronnie to write. And Ronnie would have never made it without Gary and Alan to write the melodies. I mean, it took the combination. Gary and Alan are great guitar players, but they couldn't write the words. I mean, those guys just barely made it out of the shanty town. And if it wasn't for Ronnie having Gary and Alan, he wouldn't have made it. And if it wasn't for Gary and Alan having Ronnie, they wouldn't have made it. And if it wasn't for Gary and Alan and Ronnie, 38 and Johnny and Donnie and Don Barnes and Jeff Carlisi and Molly Hatchet and Blackfoot, the Outlaws, and a lot of people wouldn't have made it, in my opinion.
right?
I mean, Skinner just barely got their foot in the door, and What did that opportunity that if Scared wouldn't have latched onto that, that opportunity would have slid by, and none of those bands would have been able to capture it, in my opinion.
That's right.
You know, and it all took Ronnie. It's just I don't know.
So, all right. So going back to a song like Tuesday's Gone. So Ronnie wrote the words and Alan wrote the melody, or did Alan like did any of the
I
Ronnie?
I
How did it
wasn't
work?
there, but I guess Alan came up with the idea.
Right.
I always heard that, Gary and Alan wrote the music, and Ronnie wrote the words, and when they were writing to save a bunch of controversy, they just came to the agreement that, okay, Ronnie would always get credit for the words,
Right. Right.
even if Ronnie came up with a melody,
Okay. Now, yeah. No, I
you know.
understand that. I was just wondering. I was just wondering just how. I mean, it's just as difficult to do one as the other because the words is like poetry. I mean, it's like Ronnie was a poet, but then Alan and Gary to have written these brilliant, brilliant, melodies and things. It's phenomenal to me. These
Well,
guys are
like
so talented.
like Alan used to say, a song is the singer of the song. Without
Yeah,
the singer of the song, a song isn't a song, it's an instrumental. Alan used
yeah,
to always say that. A song is the singer of the song.
yeah,
Without the words, the singer of it's not a song, it's an instrumental. And
yeah.
Alan was famous for saying that.
Yeah, it is just so that's why for people who can write songs that are successful, I don't it's such a gift because it's not I couldn't do it. I don't know. It's not easy. I guess you must have to have something come to you, right? Some kind of idea or something for a song, as Ronnie did, and then to have one of the guys put a melody to it or music to it. That to me is so difficult.
Gary, after Alan left and everything, and Gary and Dale tried to come up with a formula, and then during when the tribute band kind of started, Gary was kind of searching around for songwriters, and he brought Tom Kiefer down to St. Augustine to the studio,
Mhm.
and he brought Travis Tritt down to the studio. And luckily, Gary asked me to come down and run the tape machines and stuff, so they could just work on the stuff. So luckily, I was everybody that Gary brought down there to make an attempt at writing some songs. I was kind of there watching the whole thing. It was pretty cool.
Okay. It's really a gift to be able to do that. And I see these struggling new musicians and bands that, they're good at doing covers, but then when they need to write their own music, that's when it's hard. And that's the most challenging part is to write
Yeah.
music or write songs. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, there's
I
a
don't know how
lot
to do
there's a
that.
lot of good guitar players that it
Yeah.
seems like somebody that can write words is more successful than somebody that writes music. It seems like people that write words are able to, write them down and sell the words, and then people can put music to them. It seems like
Yeah.
the words are harder to come up with than the music. It seems like.
Yeah, it really is. I give songwriters credit for being able to do that. It's not easy, but
Well,
okay. Thank
it's like I was talking. We were talking about love don't always come easy when I was doing the
you.
building the coupe down at the studio in St. Augustine. I built the engine at the coupe, and I totally rebuilt the coupe down there. And Gary wanted to be there when I actually started it because I put the motor together right there in the studio. So I put the motor in the car, and I got it ready to start, and I called Gary, and I go, told him, I said, man, I'm getting ready to start this car if you want to hear it. So he came up, and he was sitting there in the studio playing his guitar, and I got ready to start the car, and I get gas down it, and I was hit the key and I went like that. So they were writing the song "Love Don't Always Come Easy," and Johnny said, "And love don't always come easy," and Gary went.
I have to check that out.
That's where he came up with the guitar part,
I'm checking that out later. Yeah, I've never heard that
right
song.
at the end of the song. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's so
Funny.
cool.
As soon as you
So,
hear it, you can hear it. And love don't always come easy. And Gary goes, yeah, you
it's
can
like the beginning of
instantly.
Call Me the Breeze. It's like, oh, right? The
Yeah,
beginning of
it's
Call
like
Me
you
the
can
Breeze. I love that.
once you're listening for it, you can instantly hear it.
Yeah. Some of the Skynyrd songs, I can name them in one note. Like Tuesday's Gone, that very first note, I know Tuesday's Gone. Some of them are so recognizable because we know them, we've heard them so many times. Don't you think you could identify a lot of Skynyrd songs by one note? Do you think
Yeah,
you
name
could?
that song in 3 notes. Yeah,
Yeah. Skynyrd, it
yeah,
could be
yeah. A
one
lot of
note.
them you can.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because we've heard them so many times. I wouldn't even
yeah.
need three notes. Oh, that's interesting. Well, I'm going to check out that song later. All right, so I got a couple of questions. There aren't a whole lot actually, because you just put this out yesterday, but let's just go through them. So this is going back to the plane crash. Somebody wants to know, and I do recall you talking about this once before, but we're going to ask it again. John Hartline, he wants to know, well, when you're on the plane and the plane was going down, why did you rip out the poker table?
I answered that once before.
I
Seemed
know.
like a good idea not to have something chest high right there when we were going to crash.
Hmm.
Seemed logical to me to rip that table out of the floor. Yeah.
That would make sense. Protect your head from getting bashed against it. Okay. And also, he wanted to mention he's been reading the Ron Ackerman book, Turn It Up, and he just says, wow, what a fantastic book. Anybody wants to step through time with Skinner, this is what during their peak years, that's it. So a shout out to Ron Ackerman's book, Turn It Up, which I do have. Okay. And then,
Actually, the if you can get a hold of the video the audio book, it's great, man. I love to put
really,
that thing in and just listening to it when you're traveling. Yeah, that's great. He does about 20 over 20 voices. He does, I think. Yeah, he was trying to get win an Emmy or something for an audio book or for overdubbing or whatever they give an award for, but he was trying to win an Emmy for overdubbing
oh,
in something, yeah. But he does a good
wow.
job. Yeah, yeah.
You know what? If that's on Kindle, I can get it because I have Amazon Prime. So I have access to all those books. If it's on Kindle, I can get it and listen to it. I'd love to listen to it while I
Yeah, the
drive.
audio book's great. Yeah. I think it was edited. I have the original CDs. I got them when they first came out. I have all the original CDs. There's like 13 different CDs.
Oh, wow.
And when I
That's a great idea. Yeah,
yeah.
that's a good idea. I'm going to see a lot of books that I have, see if I can get them through audio or Kindle. Kindle, I can just read them at home, but the audiobooks are great too for when I drive back and forth to work. So that's a good idea. So this is a question from John Louder. He wants to know, so on Tuesday's Gone, the song Tuesday's Gone, he wants to know what Billy used. He says this is what he wrote. He wrote for Al Cooper's Mellotron on the original version. Any idea what he used? What Billy used? It's a long time ago. If you don't remember, that's fine.
I remember Billy had some kind of a little mellotron or something he put up on top of his Wurlitz or yeah, that's
Okay.
a vague memory. But
Okay.
I mean, he had that Wurlitzer, and then he had some kind of a little keyboard he stuck up on top of there, and I don't remember what that was.
Okay.
But then he got it. Then he got the Steinway, and then he got the Hammond B3, and then yeah. I'm not. I don't really. I didn't keep up with Billy's piano rig all that much.
So who actually was in charge of Billy's equipment?
Boxcar. Steve Trump still does it.
Oh,
Steve plays harmonica for
okay.
on Tuesdays Gone, and Steve was part of Mike Estey's Hell and High Water project when Mike Estes called me and I was at the Roston and Collins studio
Yeah.
one night, and Mike Estes called. He was like 16 years old, and I answered the phone, Roston and Collins band, and Mike said, "I can't believe I've got somebody with Roston and Collins."
My gosh.
And I almost hung
That is
up,
so amazing.
until I found out he was a guitar player, and then he said, "Man, I know you guys." I don't remember exactly what he said, but he said, "I'm looking for a name of a band, and I wonder if you had any ideas." I said, Alan and Gary were talking about bands the other day. Let me just hold on. I'll put you on three-way, and I'll ask Alan
Oh my
on
gosh. I would
three-way."
have died.
Alan, what was the name of that
I
band
would
you
have
were talking
died.
about? What was that name of that band you were talking about? If you didn't have Skinner, you would call your band. He goes, Hell and High Water. And I go, oh,
Oh my
okay, well,
God. That's
thanks. So,
crazy.
so I said, there you go. So that's what he named his band. But yes, and Mike and Steve Trom came down to Jacksonville, and I took them over to Alan's house. But yeah, Steve became the Billy's keyboard roadie back in after the tribute tour started. And
So I got a question for you, Craig. Do you remember the phone number for the Rossington Collins office?
oh God, no.
I have a weird memory for, was it 914
904.
904 786 something 22? I don't know why. I have a
One eight one
weird
eight two
memory.
two. That was it. 1822. Yeah.
It's not crazy. I don't know why I remember that. I
Yeah, I
remember
remember it now.
thinking,
904 786 1822. Yeah, that was it.
yes. I don't know why I
Yeah,
remember
that
that. I
was it.
remember like license plates and things from when I was a teenager, but I can't remember what I had for dinner
That was
yesterday.
it. 1822. Yeah,
Yes.
786 1822. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I called back during those days, I called twice. And both times I got Alan's dad on the phone. I talked to his dad, Larkin. I couldn't believe he answered. I said, hi, whatever. This is Larkin Collins. I was like, oh my God, I'm a big fan. I know Gino and him. He was so, so nice. But I can't believe I still know that number. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Wow. I wish I would have called when Alan was there. Hello.
I'd have never thought of that without some help, but yeah.
Oh my God.
Mm.
Wow. That was how is Mike anyway? Did you ever hear from him anymore?
Who's that?
Mike? Did you ever hear from Mike anymore? How he's
That's
doing?
Steve.
Yeah.
He calls me on my birthday every year.
Oh, okay. So we'll hear from him in a couple of months.
Yeah, yeah, he'll
How
call
about
me on
that?
my birthday.
Aw. He was funny. He was so funny on the podcast. Oh my God.
Oh
I
yeah,
think he was on the one right before I was on.
yeah,
I think I was on 28. I think he was on 27 or something. He's
yeah. He was
funny.
on with Paul a couple of times. I asked Paul to
Yeah.
come back on, and he said he would like to, but he was having some issues with the chemo or whatever, and didn't feel up
Oh,
to it.
wow. Yeah, it'll be nice to see Paul back on here. Well, I hope he's doing okay. All righty, let's get to the next question, or the next comment, whatever. So, Steve Jones, he said, the railroad song. So last time I did a podcast with you, we were talking about a capo, and he
Mhm.
said railroad song. And for those guitarists who would understand this, I don't know what it means, but I'm going to read it. Railroad song is a capo on the third fret. Ed also told me he used a capo for that sound. Does that make any sense to anybody? You, Craig?
Oh well, I know what a capo is, and I know
All
where
right.
the third fret is, but why
Okay.
you would put it there and what that would change the tuning to, I don't know because I'm not a
Okay.
guitar player.
Okay. Just put that out there. And also, he said, Kathy, you're right. The King Biscuit Flower Hour did a dedication show after Lynyrd Skynyrd's plane crash, and that was the one that was with Cameron Crowe. Cameron Crowe was talking about the band, and he said, you know, I hope those guys come back. I hope they do it. And then he was recalling the story about Ronnie's hat incident. And I just love listening to Cameron Crowe talk. He's just such a great speaker. So that was Steve Jones remembered that interview.
Yeah, he had a pretty interesting life. Cameron Crowe did. He hung around with some pretty interesting people back in those days. Yeah.
Is he still married to Nancy Wilson from Heart?
God, I don't know. I haven't been in touch with Cameron Crowe since 1976 when he used to travel with us.
Yeah. From what I've read, he's been married to her for a long time. I don't recall reading anything else, but we don't know. That was a long time ago. So, yeah. All right. And then Sammy Joe, she said, you know, Ron Eckerman had once said during a radio interview that Alan's jokes were mean, but he still considered him to be a good friend. What kind of, do you remember any mean jokes? I know he used to say some things that were a little off color, but was he mean at all?
I don't know how he would. When you'd say Alan was mean, he was direct. You know, he didn't beat around the bush. You know, it was like, hey, looky here. This is the way it is. No, looky here. No, that's a bunch of bull. Fuck a bunch of bullshit. Looky here. That's the way Alan was. You know.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's his exact words. Fuck a bunch of bullshit. Looky here. You know.
Like you look, I was a little angry sometimes. You know, like in that little video clip of your films where he's looking at you and he's putting on his guitar strap and he says to you, "Are you having fun?"
I was in the tuning room when I come up with the camera. Are you having fun?
And he looks so pissed off. And then even
it's like the same thing he did to you. He said, you know, you were trying to take his picture and you were having trouble with the camera, and he said, "I'll be patient for a minute here," but
no, he said, hurry up. Well, I still say yes. yeah. I know. He was, you know.
He's very direct. You know, he was very direct. He didn't beat around the bush. He said what he meant.
Yeah, you know, my friend Carolyn, I'm still trying to get her to come on here. I'm not going to keep asking her, but she was going to say that, you know, when we went to his house in that hot May, it was like really humid and hot in Jacksonville. And she said, I said, "What do you remember about that experience going to Alan's house?" And she says, "Well, when we walked in there, I remember it was very, very dark. The room was really dark. There was a lot of paneling." And she said, the whole time we were there, she said, he never even offered us a cold drink. No, a cold beverage. I said, you know, like, what is he going to offer you, a lemonade? So, because she said it was really hot. We were wearing pants, you know, and Jersey girls wearing pants at Jacksonville, but she thought that was funny. I don't think he was, you know, that wasn't his. I wasn't expecting him to offer us a cold drink, but it was very nice to have us over there. So somebody by the name of Maverick, I don't know who that is, but he said, you know, Lynyrd Skynyrd and Southern rock in general were pretty big in New Jersey, where I grew up back in the 70s. And he said it defined who we were as high school burnouts. It's true, because we call people in high school, I don't know what it was like in other parts of the country, but the people who smoked pot and the partiers, and I did not, they were called burnouts or wasters. But the burnouts were like the party people. And if you were into those bands, that kind of music, you were considered to be a burnout. And he said there was a strange kinship to the South in our hearts. From New Jersey down to that Southern music. So pretty cool. Now, somebody else wanted to know, Craig, did any of the guys have any really bad, annoying habits? Like, I mean, anything besides the things that these they do to play tricks on each other. Like they used to throw spitballs in Billy's hair. But did anybody have any bad habits that just annoyed the other guys to be around, or were they okay with each other?
No, I don't remember. I don't remember anybody having any kind of annoying habits at all.
Okay. All
No,
right.
like we all had pretty close quarters sometimes, and I don't remember anybody snoring or
Okay. Yeah. I mean, they all
or
smoke pretty much, right? So
or
smoking was something they were
yeah,
okay with. Yeah.
but I don't remember anybody doing anything weird,
Okay. Well, it makes
you
me feel better.
making any weird noises or having any annoying habits. I don't know.
Right.
Nowadays, I would think that cigarette smoking is an annoying habit, but back then it didn't bother me.
Yeah, that would be an annoying habit.
Oh
I
my
don't know
God,
somebody who
yeah.
smoked.
I can't even stand to be around cigarette smokers anymore.
I can't either. I can't. When I walk out of a building sometime or like a store, the people who are smoking are always standing right near the entrance, and you have to get through that horrible, you know, plume, whatever, to just get away from it. It's disgusting.
I'm not a freak about it though. I do have friends that come over, and instead of making them go outside and smoke, I tell them I can smoke in there. But then, one or two,
Really? Oh, you do?
yeah,
Wow.
one or two. I don't want to be a freak about it.
Yeah. It just
People,
lingers, though. It
people
lingers in your
that
house.
smoke, people that come over here that are smokers, they're kind of nervous just being around me. So they need to smoke. So I don't want to, you know,
So, because they know you have something better than they.
I want them to enjoy themselves while they're here. I don't want to be weird or nothing. I can handle it.
Yeah, of
I'm a big
course.
boy.
Of course. All right. So Bill Smith wanted to know what happened to Alan's daughters after
Allison
well,
is Allison is still in a she's kind of she's like the people that you teach the what do you call them
well, she lives in a group home, correct? Is she in a group
yeah,
home? Yeah,
she's
yeah.
kind of not able to take care of herself on her own, I guess. So
Hmm.
she lives in an assisted living type of place.
Okay.
And yeah, she's well taken care of. And Amy, she dropped out of the scene. She's got a family, and she's moved somewhere up in the Carolinas, and she just
Hmm.
totally dropped out of the whole picture and doesn't want anything to do with it.
Hmm.
And yeah, she's
It
doing
looks from photos that I've seen, Amy looks like her mom, and Allison is the picture of her dad, from what
She
I've
doesn't.
seen.
Her and Chad were always really, really good friends, but she doesn't. She doesn't associate with Chad at all. I mean, he talks to her occasionally, but she doesn't go out of her way to. You know, I don't know if it brings back bad memories or she just
Hmm.
wants nothing to do with that whole situation.
Okay, good for her. Well, it's good. Glad she's doing well. And I believe she's a grandmom. She has at least
Yeah,
one
I
one
would
grandchild.
probably. That was been a long time since I've seen Amy. I haven't
Yeah.
seen Amy. I haven't seen Amy since her dad was up on stage and he was in the wheelchair and they introduced her on stage and she come off stage and hugged me and says, "My daddy still loves you, or always loved
Oh,
you or something." Yeah, that was real touching.
oh,
My daddy
oh,
always loved you, I think. Yeah, that's what she said. That was
oh,
that
that's
was
so
pretty cool.
sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Kimmy Ray wants to know, do you know Ben Fong Torres?
Torres.
Yeah, Ben Torres.
Yeah, the name sounds
Fong
kind of familiar.
Torres. All right.
Torres. Name sounds kind of familiar, but not real sure.
Okay. All right. Kimmy, you'll have to elaborate a little bit. Comment and tell us who he was or is. Okay. Winslow Red Cross just made a comment about the Alan Collins band, Here, There, and Back. He said there's some excellent music on there. If you don't already have it, if you can get your hands on it, he said, One Known Soldier is a great, great song. Yeah, I have that record. I was happy to get that album. And then KG, our friend KG, I don't know, is that Steve Reynolds? I can't remember who KG is.
I'm not sure.
He said that, he said, when the and again, you know this, I'm sure, when the Alan Collins band was recording the album, they recorded it without Alan. And then at nighttime,
Alan
not true.
didn't play a lot on it. Alan was pretty messed up during that period, man. I told him, I said, man, Alan, how do you think you're gonna do this tour, man? You're pretty messed up on this, stuff. And yeah, it was it was a tough period.
Well, he said that the guys, with the exception of Alan, recorded during the day, and that Alan will go into the studio at nighttime, and he would listen and then record. He said that the band laid down their parts for the album during the day, and after they left the studio at nighttime, Alan rolled into the middle of the night, went to the studio by himself. He listened to what the band recorded
Well, I
without
would
him,
have
and
took
then he
him
played
there.
his guitar.
Alan don't have a license, so if
Right.
we did that, I would have been the one to take him there because I took Alan everywhere during that period.
Yeah. And do you remember that? Do you think that's
It's,
accurate? Or?
we did a lot of stuff back then. We might, yeah, it kind of sounds familiar. Like the band was in there during the day, and I took Alan in there at night, and he listened to what they did, and then laid down some stuff. It seems like that's logical.
Okay.
I don't really remember it
Okay.
specifically, no.
All right. All right. What would make sense, because it sounds like his
Yeah,
playing is on the
it
album.
sounds logical, like, that Alan,
Yeah.
he would go in there after they would do their stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then a guy by the name of Jerome Murphy, he wants to know, so going back to the concerts, when the band was on stage and they were playing, what was your primary job that you did? Because we saw you, your cover picture for Facebook has a great picture of you sitting right there just looking around with no shirt, right in back of
I
Alan.
kind of I kind of saw that one, and I took it like somebody was saying, what were you looking for,
Yeah, what were you watching for?
Yeah,
What were
what
you
were you
right?
watching for?
Hmm.
And I thought about that, and then it goes, I watched for everything. I was watching for Artemis to break a stick. I was watching for Gary to drop a pick or break a string. I was watching for the guitar chords not to get tangled up. And the band did a pretty good job of not getting themselves tangled up, because when you got tangled up with somebody else, it was like, I try to do this, and just freaking Gary always crosses over, so you didn't want to be the one that screwed it up. So they were pretty conscious of where everybody's chord was, and not to cross it, so they didn't have, because we weren't cordless back then, or wireless back then. So,
Yeah.
if you would cross somebody's chord, it would restrict what they could do. So they kind of tried to keep that a mental thing in their self. They would look down and try to see where the chords were. And
Okay.
and if they would get tangled, we'd go out between songs, and we would decide whether it needed fixed or not. We would go out and we'd turn it off and unplug them and go out and fix it, and then put it back.
Okay.
But you just watch for everything. You just, you're watching Ronnie to see if he wants to, anything, or you're watching everything. I mean, this is not watching or I was, I was watching for everybody. Just you're
So
watching
what
the
about like,
crowd.
yeah,
Watch.
that's what I was going to say. What about like watching if, for the stadium places where you're high up, were you watching for people who try to jump on the stage or like who handled that? Did you have dedicated people who
There's, I
handled?
mean, there's security there, but yeah, you keep an eye on people that are, you think might hop up on stage. You're
Mhm.
aware of that, but they'll pop up every now and then.
So did you ever have a situation where a really attractive girl just wanted to come up on stage or jumped up? And I just want to know, like, if it was a really hot girl, would you be like, "Hey, come on up," or would you be like, "Sorry,
Well,
sorry"?
yeah, we would go act like oh honey, it looks like you're being crushed trying to get up. Why don't you just come on up here? Looks like you're devastated there trying to, are you hurt, or why don't you just come on up here, come back here and
Wow.
relax.
I just saw a video. It was one of those reels last night from an old Michael Jackson concert. It was amazing. He was performing, and there was this young girl, probably in her 20s, whatever, out in the crowd, and she was just breaking through. She wanted to get on stage with Michael Jackson, and she was determined. So the security guy actually put his arm around her and helped her, just walked her up there and led her up on stage. And she threw her arms around him. She was so in love with him, and he was hugging her back. It was amazing that this girl just wanted to meet Michael Jackson, and the security guy just, she looks fine. Get her up there. And she threw her arms around him. It was so, so beautiful. I'm going to share that on your Facebook page. So if anybody sees it, wants to look at it, it was so cool. It was like every fan's, fantasy to be able to get up there and just hug your idol or whatever. It was great. Hey, I noticed you're playing around with your backgrounds. So I was pretty good. I had the one background, but that's not the one I wanted to use. I wanted to show this one. And there's a reason I want to show this one. Let's see. Where are my images? Where are my images? Let's see. Visual backgrounds. I have a bunch of them here. Oh no, here it is. This is one I want to show. I took this picture. This was a picture that I took of Alan at the Garden State Arts Center. This was the second Rossington Collins Band concert, the second time they played there. I guess that was the one where you saying the crowd went crazy and ripped up all the seats or something.
Oh
Because
yeah,
that was the
the
second time they
Garden
played
Arts
there.
stays there. Yeah.
I think I was in the third row, and I don't remember anything crazy happening. I don't know why, but anyway, I want to go back real quick to those, the pictures. I have that stuff. I wanted to try to do a fundraiser to raise money for Jean, and I have the picture. Now it might not show up. Well, okay, this is the picture. It might not show up, but this is it's not even showing up. All right, sorry. I have that 8x10 picture that Alan signed for me in a frame and a couple of three other 5x7s. This one would be included. This one would be a 5x7. And then I also have that picture that Alan signed for me. I had a copy of it made without the to Kathy on it. So somebody wanted to bid. Now remember, we're not making money off this. Anything I get, I just want to send money to Jean. That's all. So if somebody wants to, get the frame picture and then like 4 5x7s, and then they can either have the picture with my name or without my name. Whatever, I will send it to you. Okay, this is the one without my name. I had it taken off. It just, God bless you, Alan Collins. But again, two people reached out. They bid a little bit of money, but honestly, I really want to help out Gene. I really want to help him out and do something nice for him. So if anybody's interested in getting these pictures, send me a bid, and if it's something decent, I will, arrange for you to send the money to Craig, and I'll mail these out to you. Okay. All righty. And I think we're kind of at the end here. See if there are any other questions we had to talk about today. Did you want to, I know you want to get out to your sisters. You have a big dinner this afternoon, and you want to change out of that headdress, right?
Yeah.
So you're not
Yeah.
bringing wine or anything, or Dom Perignon, or
No.
nothing? man. Okay, well that's all right. Your presence. Listen, to have
If I
you
would,
there.
if I would go out into public, I would at least take this off,
Oh,
and then I would just be a Cleveland Indian.
oh, good for you.
Yeah, I
Are
could
they
be
bringing the
Cleveland
are they going to
Indian.
bring back the Indians? Are they going to,
I don't know about the Indians, but I heard the Redskins, the actual Indian tribe, was actually suing because they changed the name, and that image was an actual Indian guy, and they were actually proud of that. They said, it wasn't us that wanted to change that, and we liked it. So yeah, it was these liberals, it's just
Mhm.
crazy liberals.
And it's just like the lady, the native Indian lady on the Land O'Lakes butter. Who was she offending?
Well,
The little,
I
I
told you
mean,
the other day that
crazy.
you were surprised that Aunt Jemima was coming back. Yeah, they're bringing Aunt
Yeah.
Jemima back. Yeah.
I haven't heard or read that anywhere, but I hope so. I mean,
I tried
well,
to send it to you, but I don't. For some reason my instant messenger ain't working. Tried to send
oh,
it to you.
well, yeah, or put it on my Facebook page if you have. So anyway, it was a lot of fun. So I hope we're back in our regular clothing. Are you going to hopefully wear your vest to your sister's house? You look all ready for
No.
Thanksgiving. Oh, okay. Well, it was fun doing another our second Thanksgiving special, and I hope everybody's been having a good Thanksgiving, politics free. See you soon on a Saturday night special. And if you got any questions, comments, send them to me, send them to Craig. You can email them to me, whatever you want, and we'll try to answer your questions. But it's been a lot of fun. And Craig, I hope you have a good dinner at your sister's. Don't go crazy, and you know what I'm talking about. I know it's on the menu over there.
And I totally forgot, but we had a donation come in, and
Oh,
it's my favorite donator, Chris Eldridge, sent in another
yay.
$50, and he sent in $50 7 previous times,
Wow,
and
Chris.
he sent Gene $60, and he sent in 75 and 20. So he sent in a total of $560 here for this round of donations. So he sends in $50 every couple of weeks. So we appreciate it there, Chris, and
Nice.
yeah, I usually acknowledge I was at the first of the show, but 6 to 1, half a dozen of the other.
Oh, I wanted one more thing. I want to thank I'm going to be mailing a package out very soon for the gift that Robert Wheatley so generously sent me. He sent me one of those cameras. And Robert, I have your stuff here. And I'm also mailing something out to Paul Connolly. And the reason it's been delayed is because the pictures, I had some prints made at CVS and they were not good quality at all. So I had them redone. So I'll be mailing those packages out to you guys very soon. So thank you for your generosity. And Robert, thinking of me, I'm going to get that camera up and running real soon. But everybody, hope you're having a wonderful wake and bake morning buzz. Oh, there you go. Okay.
Oh, I'm looking for the right.
I
Oh, there
love
it
the
is.
opening. I love hearing Alan's voice at the beginning when he says, "This is Alan Collins."
Yeah,
Oh my God, that's
I'm gonna,
crazy.
I'm gonna send this to Griff, and he's gonna add that to it.
Right.
So,
And
yeah,
I hope Griff's sister's okay. And I hope Griff is getting better. He said he has the funk. So,
yeah, he's got some kind
okay.
of funk. Yeah.
Oh, all
So
right,
yeah,
everyone.
this is what.
Everyone, happy Thanksgiving. Probably all
Yeah,
full
well,
right
I guess this is Thursday, and I guess we'll see you in the morning here, Friday morning,
now.
on the wake and bake. I don't know. Maybe Griff might not be up to it, man. He's sounding awful funky, but You know what? Maybe I'll just do if drifts awful funky. Maybe I'll just do a solo show Friday or something. Maybe I don't know.
Well, that's tomorrow. You're going to get up early tomorrow and do a wake and bake after having Thanksgiving? Craig, I can guarantee you right now, when he gets home from his sister's tonight, he's not going to be able to do a wake and bake. So forget that. No.
We'll see. We'll see. I'll try. Maybe. Anyways, yeah. So this is podcast 253, and I don't know what's going to happen on 254 or when it's going to be or anything about it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be what it'll be. It'll be what it'll be. But I'll be back soon. We'll do a Saturday night special soon. All right.
But see you later, alligator, at the wild
crocodile.
And happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep token until then. And we're going to call that a wrap. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
We're out of here. Bye-bye.
Bye.